Okay, we just gotta wait for this thing to load up here. There we go. All right. Y'all ready now? Do I need to say anything else? Buckeye Nation, what's poppin'? Crazy Dog coming at you on the Buckin' Crazy YouTube channel with a very special late night Ohio State Buckeyes live stream. As of course, National Signing Day is in full swing. Technically, we're getting into the final day of National Signing Days. And if you're new to the sport and you're like, what's so relevant about this one? You have one in February. That's the main one. At least it used to be. The fun happens in December. But if you commit and sign now, this time, these 3 days, are for players that want to enroll in college early. These are the guys that you're going to see frolicking around in the sidelines over the next month or so during bowl games and such. Like, these kids will be able to go to campus in January, around there, and I think they'll be able to take part in like some practices and such, but obviously they're not going to play. Obviously not. But the biggest thing is, these kids will be there for spring practices. And as far as Ohio State goes, of course, we did have some kids leave the class. It's unfortunate. Caden Dixon Wyatt, bye-bye. He went to USC. That was a bummer. That hit me right here, like a punch to the freaking gut. And you see this little fella right here? No, not the one in the far left. That's Jordan Thomas. He is as locked in as they come. I'm talking about Chris Henry Jr. Because you see the title. We are on Chris Henry Jr. signing watch, I guess. Because it's currently midnight, 12:15 a.m., Friday, December 5th, 2025, out here in the east side of the United States. And he is still yet to sign his NLI, or his NIL contract thing. And if you go on to On3 right about now, he is crystal balled by everybody. Literally every single freaking major writer has crystal balled him or predicted him to go to Oregon. But I've literally been checking the forums, and Steve Wilfong has posted like 100 articles over the past day or so, giving us updates on what is going on with him. And it's pretty clear Ryan Day is not going out without a fight. Even though Brian Hartline did leave, he is still in the building right now, as he is helping the team get ready for the playoff. He'll be there through the playoffs. And then once their season's done, hopefully, our season ends in Miami with us raising yet another trophy. And then he can, funny part is, if our season ends in Miami with winning a natty, he doesn't even have to really leave the state. He just packs his bags, gives Ryan Day a bro hug, maybe pops in for the natty ceremony, but he just has to go a few miles away. What, northwest to Tampa? To South Florida? To begin his coaching career. I was in a live stream, right? Just, listening to people talk about recruiting. Wait, shout out to High Top Sports. I don't think they even know who I am, really. Popped in their chat every once in a while. Really cool people. They're Florida fans. And they are hyped up about John Summerall. Happy for him. You know, John Summerall seems like a much better version of Sunbelt Billy. But man, he better not fail. Damn. Dipping back into the G5 coaching world. That's tough. That's interesting. Hope it works out for him. But I was in their stream, listening to them talk about their recruits and stuff, you know. And someone in the chat mentioned Brian Hartline hired by South Florida. First thing I did, I went to Twitter and boom, there it is. Right. And then I made the video. And it seemed like they knew it was coming, which is interesting because Chris Henry Jr. obviously did not sign. He's still committed, but he didn't sign. That's the thing. He didn't decommit. Because obviously, I think if he was pissed about it, he would have decommitted right then and there. He would have flipped right there. But he didn't. He's signed with Ohio. He's committed to Ohio State. So as of now, as of this live stream, he is a Buckeye. For now. Mm-hmm. Hopefully, Ryan Day can work his magic and, I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll see him sign with the Buckeyes for real. And man, if he does sign with the Buckeyes, I am going live on this channel. Or whatever. I might just do it in a video. And I will just talk about the impact of him to this offense because he's going to be an early player. He's going to be like Jeremiah. You're not going to be able to keep him off the field. But unfortunately, the vibe is right now he's going to flip to Oregon. Now, you peep this guy over here. Because if that guy goes to Oregon, this guy right here, just might be in play for the Buckeyes if he enters the portal. And for those who don't know, this guy is Cam Coleman, a good receiver from Auburn. And there's a lot of talk about him potentially entering the portal. In fact, shout out to who was it that found the tweet? Was it Swish on Twitter? Who was it? Let me look it up. It was Chris Hummer in a 247 article that talked about it. But I just do not know who brought it up on Twitter. Oh, it was the Scarlet and Gray podcast a month ago. Literally a month from technically yesterday, the 4th. A month ago. Brought up a very interesting possibility. This is a little blurb from his article. Interesting, and I quote, industry source even speculated that Cam Coleman, play with Smith, Jeremiah Smith, at Ohio State if Carnell Tate leaves for the NFL. I didn't think about this at first. Let's take a look at old Cam Coleman's stats, shall we? Because you got to remember, he did what he did this year with Jackson Arnold and Deuce Knight. Is that Daniels over there too? He had a revolving door at quarterback. Freaking Hugh Bum-Ass Freeze was his freaking coach. Serious. All right? Wasting a talented player like that. So yeah, Cam Coleman, 6'3", 197 pounds. My God, he's a big boy. What has he done so far? Well, he's going into his junior year next year. So if he really balls out, we'd only have him for next year. Same thing with Jeremiah. That lines up perfectly. His sophomore year, he played in 12 games, 56 receptions, damn near 20 more than last year. 708 receiving yards, 5 touchdowns. So, yeah. And that was 3 quarterbacks throwing him the ball. Imagine what he would do in a Ryan Day offense, right? Jeremiah on the other end. And then you're going to have probably maybe Brendan Innes in the slot again if he sticks around. But man, could you just imagine if we kept freaking Chris Henry? Obviously, I don't think that's going to happen. I think we lose Chris Henry, which would piss me off because, of course, he would go to Oregon. We lose Chris Henry, and Ohio State uses the money saved by not paying him to go in the portal and snag one of the following: Cam Coleman, Nick Marsh, or get this one, if he enters, no guarantee that he will, Ryan Williams. I know, you guys are thinking, man, ain't no way in hell Ryan Williams is entering the portal. No way, brother. Tripping. Never know. Word is, my hair is freaking pissing me off too. My God, I need to get a damn haircut. I'm probably going to get it tomorrow, most likely, or this weekend. I think when my hair starts getting long, because then it starts bugging my ears. It feels like I got something crawling on my ears, and it's like start tripping out. Should wear a headband. Headband, bucknut. Oh man, but yeah. Let's talk about this recruiting class. My God, I'm tripping up. My ears itching. My hair's bugging me right now. Oh my God, brother. Ah. Okay. I am done tripping out. I promise. But could you just imagine if we did get a Cam Coleman to go with the guys that we have? Right? That would be fun. That would be a lot of fun. We'll see. That's if we lose Chris. Now, like I said, don't get it twisted. He's still a part of the class right now. He hasn't decommitted. He's still there. For now. Vibes aren't good. Nope. The vibes are just not good right now. Ohio State, according to On3, has the number 6 recruiting class. And if Chris does leave, that would leave us with 0 5-stars. Man. Tough. So, we're going to go all the way down this class. All right? We're going to go all the way down. On 3, we'd have 2 more 5-stars. Kerry Wilder, Jay Timmons. Yeah, so. But, look at this recruiting class as a whole. What's it, 25 commits? Or 27 right now. Possibly down to 26 if Chris leaves. But one thing I will say, and I haven't seen a lot of people on Twitter talk about this because they're too busy worrying about Chris Henry Jr. I'm just going to say this, right? Do not let the Chris Henry Jr. drama distract you from the fact that Larry Johnson, OG Walt, Matty G, James Laurinaitis, and the entire defensive staff absolutely freaking cooked with this class. I mean, look at the dudes they got, man. They got Kerry Wilder. My guy Larry went off. Damn. I think he heard the slander from the last couple years. Yeah, this is probably the best D-line class in general, in size and talent, that he's had in a while. I think, what was it, last year we only had like 1 or 2 D-line guys in general. This year we had like, what, 4 or 5? Bruh. Kerry Wilder, 5-star. Absolute monster. Dog. Dog. Yeah. 6'4", 255, brother. Mm. Ew, yeah. And you know what? This guy's going to play a lot. You're not going to be able to keep him off the field. Mm-hmm. And I know people are going to talk about black stripes, right? Come spring, who's going to be the first freshman to lose the black stripe, which would essentially be like taking the training wheels off and unleash them? Chris Henry's still on the team. I'll say it's him. But if not him, it's not going to be Kerry. He'll be one of the early ones, though. I think it'll either be Blaine or Raekwon. Defense. In terms of offense, again, if he's there, it'll be Chris. But in terms of the offensive players losing the black stripe, I'm going to say Brock Boyd. Mm-hmm. It's not Brock. I think it'll be one of the old linemen, maybe Sam Greer or Max Riley. It'll be one of those guys. But Kerry Wilder, he's a 4-star, right? Absolute monster. Man. But then, right? In fact, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to go through it based on the date when we got him. Yeah. So, obviously, we had decommitments, right? I'm not going to talk about those guys right now. The very first commit we had to this class, of course, was Chris Henry Jr. Committed on July 28th, 2023. It would be over a year before someone else would commit, and that would be Jaden Ricketts, who would commit right after one of the games. I did a video on him, November 16th, 2024. And it's so funny because you can tell when Tyler Bowen showed up, because right after he showed up, we started landing dudes, right? We got Max Riley, Sam Greer, and Tucker Smith. You also got Aaron Thomas, too, in there as well, but he decommitted, so who cares? He's off doing whatever with Minnesota. Yeah, of course, Blaine Bradford. The fact that we were able to hang on to Blaine since March, despite all the talk about, LSU flipping him. If you went into the LSU forums, that's all you'd see. LSU fans were like, we're going to flip Blaine. Is Blaine going to flip? Hey, we're going to flip him. Is Blaine going to flip? Is he going to flip? How about now? Now, you'd be like, why do they want him so bad? He went to school down the damn street at Catholic High School in Baton Rouge. We went into freaking Brian Kelly's backyard. Literally, his backyard. And I remember the old days. You dare not trespass into Les Miles or Nick Saban's territory, or even Urban Meyer when he was with Florida. You just go walking in there and take their players. Oh. Ryan Day said, watch this. Nick Saban's gone. Well, let me just waltz into Alabama and start taking their best players. He's already owned Florida, right? He has free reign in Florida. And Texas, too. And honestly, it's turning like that in Cali as well. But the fact this dude went into Brian Kelly's backyard and snatched up one of their top players and held on to him. It's cool. Blaine was locked in from the get-go. And you love to see that. You see that. He's going to be an early contributor next year. Because Caleb Downs is gone. And I mean, you do have some other really good freshmen: Kamari Bing, Simeon Caldwell, Caden Gebhart. They might get some time too. And not to mention the guys that are already here: Jalen McLean, Malik Hartford. Do I need to go through the entire freaking? No, let's do this. Let's pull up the entire depth chart. Okay. What's up, Jacob? Yo, crazy dog. We have a chance. Oh, we have a chance. Vol Nation here. Brian Hartline has been in my way. Been in my way in recruiting. CHJ going to look great in green and yellow. We'll see. Nobody knows what he's doing right now. It's silent. I'm anxiously awaiting the Hayes Fawcett tweet announcing he's either staying or he's leaving. Oh, waiting. Speaking of Hayes, I kid you not, as I was preparing this freaking stream, got another cryptic Hayes tweet. Freaking hate when he does that. What's he talking about? Is that a flip? Is it Chris Henry Jr.? Is it some random 3-star freaking dude nobody cares about committing somewhere? Does it involve Ohio State? Tennessee? Oregon? Tulane? What is he talking about? Nobody knows except Hayes. I think the only tweets that get me more than these ones are the ones that he put, essentially what you'd call the bat signal tweets, when he posts a GIF of a certain team. Right? For Ohio State, it's the Brutus GIF of him going. Right? I think there's one with for Oklahoma. It would be Brent Venables on the plane when he first got there. The ones have I seen the most of? Oh, let's look at let's scroll through his Twitter. Heck, maybe I might even run into something. Imagine he freaking announces something as I'm live. Now he wouldn't do that now. No, he's not that much of a psychopath. All right, let's see. Here's this most recent bat signal tweet, because now he's starting to talk about players entering the portal and such. He's posted a bat signal in a while. Okay, where are you at? He hasn't posted a bat signal in a minute. Of course, he posted that stupid UFC one with them going, oh, it was you. Yeah. I think this was right after Lane Kiffin signed there. Yeah, November 30th. It was right after the Lane Kiffin hire. And I'm pretty sure it was a recruit, but I don't think. Yeah. They've had a few kids enter the portal, but I don't think they had anybody. Yeah, it wouldn't be for him. That was the most recent bat signal tweet. Yeah, Blaine Bradford. Glad we got him, right? And then after he committed a few days later, Simeon Caldwell from Bowles High School in Florida, he committed on April 3rd. The very next day, CJ Santa from Olentangy High School, right up the street from Columbus, he committed. And then the one that kind of shocked me, technically this was the first spatula whack of the year, as we went out and whacked old Sonny Dykes on the head with the spatula and flipped Brock Boyd from TCU. We just smacked Sonny Dykes on the head with a freaking spatula. That was the first one of the year. Didn't even think about it back then. Then I was on the 15th. And then another month later, Jordan Thomas committed from New Jersey, another corner. Really good player. He's the one that you see over here on the banner, far left. The last team I want to see in the playoffs. Man, it's going to be fun to watch in the playoffs. I kind of want to see what they have to go through. Right? Because In fact, I actually do have the latest rankings up here. Again, let's take a look at the last bracket. Oh, they don't even know who they'd play right now. Either group of 5 or ACC team. Watson. Now, of course, Favor Key committed in June during the summer mass visit month. You know, when you'd have those big visit events that they had during the summer. Ohio State, I think, had 3 or 4 of them. One every week until like the final week, I think it was. Yeah. He committed during one of those. Kerry Wilder committed during one of those. Sincere Johnson committed after one of them. So that was it for that. And then Damari Simeon also committed. Absolute man eater from New Jersey. That's another thing. Larry Johnson has secured a legit foothold in the DMV area, in New Jersey as well. Yeah. We have secured roots in New Jersey, thanks to Larry Johnson, our D-line coach. And despite what the haters say, he's a pretty damn good recruiter when he's locked in. Especially when he has the monetary backing of our NIL. Because he can get these kids, he can reel them in, right? He can get them hooked. You got to reel them in, right? You got to, Well, when our money's working, we can get almost anybody we wanted. And then finally, on July 3rd, we got our quarterback for the class, Luke Fahey from Mission Viejo, same high school that Philip Bell went to. Very next day, Jameer Perez committed after he flipped from Florida. So once again, we bonked freaking Billy Napier on the head. Bonk. And it's weird because when he committed to Florida, everyone, even Florida writers, were like, why? Why did he commit to Florida? Even they were like, why? Okay, welcome. But we already know you're dipping, so yeah, whatever. And then, so he committed on the 4th. And then we were supposed to get a commitment from Jaquaden Guilford. He wisely pushed it back until the end of the month, or like July 18th, where he would then commit to Ohio State. He's an underrated receiver, and he is very good too. And then the bonking really started to go down as we would be kind of quiet with the class until October, and Landry Bredy would commit after we bonked NC State on the head. Right? Smacked him with a spatula. Awesome stuff. Very next day, come on, bing, bong, to freaking Maryland. He comes over, flips from Maryland. Safety. But then the biggest one started to pop off. Timmons. 5-star corner. Formerly of Florida State. Son of, yes, that Timmons. Lawrence Timmons from Pittsburgh. Heinrichland High School. I remember hearing when he was going to visit. He was like, I'm just going to go visit, see what it's like. It's just a visit. Well, it turned out to be more than just a visit because he would actually commit on November 6th. That was fun. Donk freaking Norvell in the head with the spatula. He makes this recruiting class that much better too. And then, of course, we would whack old Chapel Bill on the head, take Mason Wilhelm, legacy Buckeye, son of Matt Wilhelm. We would even freaking whack Coach Prime on the head with a spatula as we would flip Emmanuel Ruffin from Colorado. We would sort of whack Dabo on the head. In fact, now that I think about it, we whacked him twice on the head with a spatula. We took Dre Quinn from him, even though he already decommitted, but still, he's a flip. We would do it to him, and we would do it to him for Dre and then Caden Gephardt yesterday. Nick Lauder, we would smack freaking Jeff Brom on the head, Braxton Rambert. We would smack whoever the Wake Forest coach is, Dickert or whatever. We'd smack him in the head with a spatula. And of course, we would whack Brian Kelly in the head again for Darius McKinley. But of course, I think by that time he had already been fired, but still. And then Caden Gephardt yesterday. Now, who has left us? Which I'll say, over the last 2 years, we only lost 3, 4, 5, 6 kids. 6 kids right now are lost. But Legend Bay, you should put an asterisk next to that one. That situation with Legend Bay is so freaking messed up. It's insane. Right? Because originally he committed to Tennessee. And then in November, he visited Ohio State. He loved it. He would actually flip to Ohio State. So yeah, we would whack freaking Josh Heupel in the face with a spatula. And I was so freaking hyped because he can do so much. He can play a little quarterback, running back, freaking receiver. And I'm sure if he was in the class, they would have him returning punts. Well, get this. So yesterday, the 3rd or the 4th. No, it's the 3rd. Yeah, it was the 3rd. First day of National Signing Day. He would go to school and we'd have a nice little table set up. I mean, it was decked out with Buckeye stuff. You're like, oh wow, look at that. He's got it all Buckeyed out. He's bucked out for sure. Bucked up. Yeah. And you're thinking, okay, we're good. No, I had heard that Tennessee was making a push. I was like, okay, but I don't think it's gonna work out. I don't think it's gonna work out. I don't think he's gonna be a Buckeye. Everybody thought he was gonna be a Buckeye. Sources on 247, the writers, everybody was like, oh, he's a Buckeye. No big deal. Buckeye people inside the Woody Hayes Center, they were sure he was a Buckeye. But behind the scenes, Mama Duke's mama and brother of his family, they wanted him to flip back to Tennessee. Yeah. Very tumultuous situation. It got heated to the point where coaches had to step in and diffuse things. Because he's only 17. Which means he can't sign for himself. He needs a parent's signature or whatever, like sign off, approval. Which his mother didn't approve. Go figure. So yeah, he would flip back to Tennessee. But here's the kicker. Okay? I was looking on 247 earlier. It's a Mike Roach, right? From 247, keeping us locked in with this. Apparently, as of Thursday evening, last night, Wednesday evening, Thursday evening around there, so the last 24 or so hours, especially Wednesday evening, it seems as though Legend Bay is not locked in with Tennessee. He signed, but he's not locked in. He doesn't want to be a Vol, right? He doesn't want to be there. He was essentially, as they say, coerced into it by his parents. And the vibe is, when he turns 18 in 3 weeks, I even saw him say on TikTok, I don't know if it was actually him, he's been posting some weird tweets and stuff, saying, like today, he said like he lost access to his Twitter and Instagram. His brother took over access of that stuff. It's like, what is this, a hostage situation? And apparently he's saying how when he turns 18, he's going to probably either enter the portal or get out of his NLI thing and his agreement and become a Buckeye again. I'll believe it when I see it. It's just a sad situation. And honestly, knowing how Ryan Day does things like that, he's very good with tumultuous situations like that. I'm sure if Legend does indeed flip back to Ohio State, Ryan Day's gonna have, get him in his office and really just have a sit down with him and let him know that he's there for him. Ryan Day is such an awesome dude. People slander him for no reason. He's such an awesome guy. He legit talked one of his former players. What was it? Harry Miller, I believe it is, or someone who was, going through some stuff. He talked him off the ledge, so to speak, right? You know, that's how cool of a dude he is. He's been through some crazy stuff in his life. And of course, he has to coach a team with one of the most rabid fan bases on Twitter, pretty much. They call us the lunatic fringe. Very reactionary. If you lose, we'll let you know about it. Can kind of say we're like maybe Steelers fans in terms of college fan bases. Very reactionary. I don't know. I think we're more like Eagles fans, honestly. Yeah, Legend Bay decommitted. That was sad. And then earlier on in the fall, we also lost Jacob Weatherspoon. He out of nowhere decommitted and flipped to North Carolina. Out of nowhere. And then Cameron Brickle, he went to Maryland. A lot of people thought that he was kind of motivated to go do say shoot, get out of here. I think Ryan Day said, you know what, we got our eyes on someone else. In this case, Darius McKinley. Yeah, Darius McKinley. Like, okay, Cam, we got our eyes on someone else. You can go look around and whatever. Feel free to evaluate your options. And he went to Maryland. That's what we came. That's the that's what we came up with because it's like, man, we don't lose commits to freaking Maryland unless we push them out. And then Corbin Fordham went back to essentially his home, pretty much, because he's a legacy from Florida State. His dad went there, and then Aaron Thomas would flip to Minnesota. So that's it for all the decommitments. But again, if they can keep Chris Henry Jr. in the class, that's elite. That's elite level work by Ryan Day because he did not give up. He didn't just say, "Oh well, I'm done." He kept trying. Like that, right? Gotta like that kind of dedication. Who's blowing up his phone? He used to call me on my yeah. Hopefully we can keep Chris, but it's not looking good. I'll just say that. All right. Of course, transfer portal to wrap this baby up. What else is there really to say? Cam Coleman would be an amazing addition if they were unable to keep Chris Henry Jr. But if you've been on Twitter and if you're a Buckeye fan, you should know some other names that are going to pop up. One name to keep an eye on, Nick Marsh, another receiver. Really good. He actually came out and said he plans on entering the transfer portal when it opens on, was it January 2nd? Right? Is it January 2nd or like in January somewhere? So, yeah, he's going to have a lot of teams going after him. Ohio State, if they lose out on Chris Henry Jr., I think they're going to have the monetary firepower to get whoever they want. Ryan Day still working on Chris Henry. Thanks for that update, freaking Will Fong. Oh, yeah, here's someone on the forum just talked about it. Swear to God, he's going to flip, isn't he? Watch, he's probably going to flip, isn't he? It's nothing like stressing the hell out of us. All right. I'm gonna look on the forum site here and taking forever to load. Let me get rid of that. Can I get rid of that? What else do we got here? Oregon side might announce on that show with Pat. West Virginia confirmed. Imagine. Did someone actually report this? Announcing a commitment on TV after being committed for damn near 3 years is hilarious. Some Oregon Twitter guy does his own column thing and said it? Huh. Yeah, I'm not going to believe that. Like this guy on the forum says, Pac Man's on there a lot. I don't know if he'll actually do whatever on there. Like, what would he do? Say, I'm signing with Ohio State? You know how much of a boss move that would be for him? Go on Pat McAfee and be like, yeah, I'm staying with Ohio State. And then, us Buckeye fans would just sit back and listen to all the Duck fans cry and complain. I don't even think they'd even really cry because they're already loaded. That would just be like, wow, really? Did you really have to do that? Of course he would. Look that up. Chris Henry Jr. Pat McAfee show. I don't know why he'd go on the Pat McAfee show. Oh, Grok did a thing about it too. The article on Duck Reports summarizes top targets, 5-star Chris Henry Jr., Oregon leads, decision likely tomorrow on Pat McAfee show. Hmm. It's so weird about how his whole recruiting thing has gone, right? Like, you're going to stay somewhere for 3 years, pretty much. And yeah, Brian Hartline leaves, but if you've been paying attention to how Hartline has done things over the years at Ohio State, you would have gotten the hunch that he was going to get a job elsewhere at some point, right? You had to figure sometime soon he was going to get a head coaching job. Of course, it had to happen yesterday. It is what it is. Not going to, flip out if he if he goes. I'm just going to say, if he does leave, it would be again another punch to the gut. But they better take the money that was supposed to be used on him and turn around and get me an absolute dog in the portal. Get me a Cam Coleman, Nick Marsh, or if he enters, Ryan Williams. Really go balls to the wall. Do something like that, and then we lit. We ride. But who knows? But my main thing is still, heck is Hayes Farza talking about here? Let's have a little bit of fun. To wrap this stream up, let's have a little bit of. Let's see what the people in the comments think he's talking about. Because I know they don't know what he's talking about. They even think he knows what he's talking about. Right? Let's see what people think he's talking about here. And FYI, I know what y'all are thinking too. Who do I think the Buckeyes are going to get to be the new OC? I don't know. I have to hear about them interviewing guys first. Well, there are names out there that they might be interested in. They might promote Keenan Bailey again. He was essentially like Brian Hartline's like second in command when it came to recruiting receivers and tight ends, like skill players, especially wide receivers, because he was the tight ends guy. So you could essentially say he was the second in command. If they stay in house, it could be him. It could be was it Devin Jordan or whatever, one of our other associate coaches there, assistants. Could be him. I'm interested to see what they do, especially at offensive coordinator as well, not just receivers coach. I'm guessing they're probably going to go outside the organization for that, because that's what they do. I don't think they really stay in house for that stuff. I mean, they could get whoever they want. You'd be literally, you would be handing the keys to a Bugatti Veyron, right? A Bugatti. You'd be handing the keys to a supercar to that OC. I mean, damn. The weapons this team would have, full loaded arsenal. Especially if they flexed their monetary power in the transfer portal, they went out and got a Cam Coleman or Nick Marsh. And then maybe on defense, they go out and get a Chaz Coleman, who Buckeye fans have wanted for a while now. What about Dylan Stewart? If he enters the portal, he's going to be one of the top, most sought after guys. You know what I would love? If we did another Caleb Downs, Quinshawn Judkins this year in the portal. This if we win the Natty or not. Right? Still remember to this day, literally, as the whistle blew and the team up north, they hadn't even gotten, into the celebration yet. The confetti was still falling in Houston. Check Twitter. Quinshawn Judkins committed to Ohio State. Back then, that was a fun time because everyone was tracking who the players on the team followed on Instagram. And they would freak out when they see, oh my God, insert duty, Jeremiah or not Jeremiah, but someone is following a player here, right? Like they would really go digging into that stuff. It was crazy, but that's just the way it was back then. Nowadays, it's just paying attention to the crystal balls and such. All right. But anyways, let's take a look at that Hayes Fawcett tweet and see what the people thought, who they thought he was talking about. Like I said, I would not be shocked if as I'm doing this, I'm trying so hard if as I'm doing this, they freaking he stayed. I would lose my mind if that happens. As I'm streaming here, he signs with Ohio State. Because then again, it's only like 10 p.m. over there in California. So here's Hayes. Let's see what people thought he was talking about. All right, so someone tweeted responding saying, grown ass man, by the way. Yeah, okay. Okay, we got someone saying about Marty Smith. Someone tweeted a Buckeye emoji or GIF. Someone said Pavia coming back for a 17th year. West Virginia fan showing Who's that? Like Ren, some AD with money bags. Okay. Jace Matthews and Deuce Gerald's flipping the Ole Miss. Says somebody on Twitter. Someone, Heisman Daniels on Twitter says 3-star flips from Coastal to JMU. Tyler Diener, Buckeye fan, says CHJ sticking. Man, that would make me so happy. Someone says CHJ is a Mountaineer. Nah. Herb Brooks, you got husked. Another Georgia player arrested. That's messed up. It's always so funny to read these tweets because you don't know what the hell he's talking about. Now, if he had posted a GIF, bat signal, then we could get to talking. Yeah. We don't know what the heck he's talking about. Could be something big, could be nothing. Could be a coaching hire, could be a transfer portal. Maybe it's Cam Coleman officially entering the portal. You never know. But with Hayes, he'll tweet some about it in like a day or so. He's going to USC, boys. It's already leaked to his teammates at Mater Dei. Already heard he's not in the running. Oh, they're not in the running for him. It wouldn't surprise me at all if he did go there. Because of course he would. He would go there. Walk on red shirts tweets out something very true and sad. Billy Napier got fired and rehired before Penn State found a coach. He did? Billy Napier is back in the G5 with James Madison. Coach went to UCLA. Wow. Sun Belt Billy. No, wait. Is he back to being Sun Belt? Or are they in the hold up? I'm gonna think. James Madison is not in the Sun Belt. Right? I don't think they are they? That'd be messed up if they are. He's back to being Sun Belt Billy. Sun Belt Billy's back. That's funny. He's back to being Sun Belt Billy. Yeah, because his old school, Louisiana. That's actually hilarious. I forgot they were in the Sun Belt. So yeah, Sun Belt Billy is back. Gotta love it. Gotta freaking internet's acting up, so I'm gonna head out of here, guys. Gotta love it. So yeah, we'll see what happens there with him. But yeah, like I said, if he sticks, let's go. If he dips, use the money that you save from paying him to go get me a dog receiver in the portal. Oh, I mean, couldn't they, try to swing swings for another receiver? I mean, technically they could. It's pretty much too late. Let's take a look at all the receivers that they offered. I doubt there's one that's available that hasn't signed yet. Highly doubt it. I mean, there is the possibility that if they hired, because again, if they hired a head coach to be their OC, I mean, those players from his team could enter the transfer portal. I don't think there's anyone even available, in my opinion, from what I know. Oh my God, Ethan Bach. You know what to do under Hayes' tweet. Boy, all right. So we go to receivers. And the only one that's not signed yet is Brody Keefe. Nah. These are all the receivers that they offered. And all but one are signed. Except for Chris, of course. So yeah, they're kind of screwed in that department. I don't know what they're gonna do. What about like just overall? Yeah, I wonder how many receivers, like in general, not committed, not signed yet. I mean, we're going in the final day of freaking early signing, so most of the people that are signed, or most of the top players are all signed up, I think, at this rate. What a wide receiver. Obviously, Chris Henry hasn't signed yet. For Russell, he hasn't signed, but he's, I think, sticking with Syracuse. Jace Matthews hasn't signed. I don't think we've even offered him. No. Aaron Horns? Who the hell is that? Hula. He committed to Utah, I believe, or he's going to commit. Samson Gash, a Sparty commit, 4-star receiver. I don't even think we offered half these people. And if we did, it was Brian Hartline. And they damn sure ain't going to come here for that. Xavier McDonald, 4-star from Sacramento State, he's probably going to go to Colorado to follow his coach. We got London Smith, 3-star receiver. Yeah, we're not going after these like low tier guys. Mostly everybody's signed. Only like a handful of guys in the top 100 haven't signed yet. So there's really nobody to, swerve to and, fill in that spot, which is something that we've done before. Yeah, it's we kind of do that, which is okay, I guess. It is what it is. By the way, I saw earlier Jaquaden Guilford officially signed, so he's locked in. He did that earlier today. There was actually a lot of talk about him possibly leaving, but nope. Honestly, if you're Chris Henry Jr., you got to be sitting there thinking, okay, so Heartline leaves. Usually, if those guys came just for Heartline, they would have dipped. Literally, the only receivers that have left us so far, essentially, Caden Dixon Wyatt and possibly Chris Henry. 2 kids that went to the same high school. The 2 of our best receiver commits. I mean, Chris could change his mind and sign tomorrow. Who knows? I wish his sister would get in his ear and be like, "What do you think you're doing, Chris? Get your butt over here. You're going to leave me at Ohio State alone? You're going to go to freaking Oregon? Really? They're going to give you a shoe deal?" And it's like, by the way, Oregon, um, let's not forget what happened the last time we had someone, Naeem Offord, swerve us in recruiting in the Rose Bowl. We went out and put B2A, BTA. It was like 34-0 at halftime, 34-8. Straight belt action. We roasted them ducks. They couldn't even stop us. They had freaking Dan Lanning looking in like he was in shambles at halftime. He was powerless. It's crazy. But yeah, so that is pretty much going to do it for this. And we'll see what happens with Chris Henry tomorrow. Should be interesting. Because tomorrow's the last day of early signing. I don't know if you can sign after, but if you're trying to if you're trying to enroll early, they would suggest you sign tomorrow. Offer Kenny Darby, it doesn't really matter. Because again, I really doubt we're going after him. I honestly see him maybe going to. I could see us going to the portal for somebody. Look at that, Tyron Holmes, USF. Ah man, he's from Sarasota, so interesting. Very interesting indeed. All right, so that's gonna wrap it up for this one, guys. I am gonna head out of here and probably sit here for a little bit and see what happens. See if anything pops up. If anything happens tomorrow, I'll probably have a. It's not looking like a. It's not looking like a good situation for us though. Let me just check the on 3 RPM. Just check the on 3 RPM thing here real quick, just to make sure. You know what? Let's actually take a look at Oregon's fan site real quick just to see what they're saying. Yeah, there's nothing new on the RPM page. Oh, what the heck? Oh, hey, yo. Someone just getting booked on the freaking on a route at Ohio State. Oh, that's Jaquaden. Oh, that was right after he got offered. Oh, that's cool. He was at one of those camps last year, kicking some corner on a route. Oh, damn. Wow. I just see Jaquaden officially sign on a dotted line today, though. Made me feel much better as a fan. Definitely. Because if we would have left, that would have been tough. But let's just see real quick what Oregon fans are saying. See what the vibe is from that fan base. The other side of the docket, right? The team that could be getting him. And as you can imagine, I'm sure they're pretty hyped at this point. As would any team that's possibly getting a freaking top tier recruit. It'd be great if this page would load up. Okay, that's not going to work. It's not going to load for me. Of course not. It's going to be slow now. Classic. All right. When I'm trying to do something and this stupid site just goes so slow. But that's just my internet. Anyone who's new to my channel and stuff, if you've been watching, if you haven't been watching my stuff, my internet is so slow because that's where I live. I live in the boonies, in the middle of the mountains. Freaking West Virginia, IA. Oh, wow. So we find the Oregon page right here, and okay, it's moving faster. All right. Okay, Justin Hopkins 12 hours ago talked about trending for 5-star Chris Henry Jr. Let's see what the forums are talking about here. Okay. 2 coordinators and 0 recruits. Justin Hopkins said, buckle up. See, someone else in their forum said he's set to commit on Pat McAfee show. All right. Just reading through it here. Okay. All right. So someone said at 11:50, buckle up, noon Eastern. Do I have to go live for Pat McAfee tomorrow? Mm. Oh my God. Someone in their forum said would love to see him troll McAfee with a West Virginia shirt and then pull it off to reveal the green and yellow. And then he takes off the green and yellow and it's a scarlet and gray jersey. Or like with the score from the game last year. 34 to whatever it was at halftime. That's funny. 274 Sports. Okay, of course. Freaking fake account. Oh, Buck reports. An internet nobody. Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah, it's not even there. Wow. But honestly, the way I see it, the longer this goes, the better chance we have. We just keep driving that price up. Cause like, man, it's like you want to sign dudes in transfer portal, don't you, Oregon? Just keep driving that price up. Nah, I don't know what he's gonna do. Nobody knows what Chris Henry's gonna do. This could all just be one giant troll job like what Caleb Downs did to Ryan Day a few years ago when he transferred here. Because at first, if you don't know the story, when Caleb originally committed to Alabama, he called up Ryan Day and said, yeah, I'm going to go to Bama. So when Downs entered the portal, he pretty much did the same thing to Ryan Day, except he kind of pranked him a little bit and had Ryan Day thinking that he was going to go elsewhere again. Ryan Day has been trying to, talk to Chris Henry Jr. and uh, Oregon fans sure do talk a lot of trash about Ryan Day for after what Ryan Day did to them last year. What I do like about On Three though is that they don't let fans of other teams go into other teams' forums and start talking because obviously you know that could only end in bad ways, bad things. So smart move by On Three, but it's just so funny to see like these fans talking about that stuff. I'm just scrolling through the forum right now. I'll be out of here in a minute. All right. Yeah, it's just a whole lot of nothing right now. I can't believe someone actually thought they could break the news saying, oh, he's going to be on McAfee tomorrow. It's like you realize that's going to be at 9 a.m. out in California, right? All right, so that's pretty much all I have. And again, if anything happens tomorrow, I will definitely be here for it. Have a good rest of your night, guys. So, again, the Buckeyes class of 2026, really good stuff. Really good stuff. I was really impressed with how our guys filled up this class. You know, just a shame that Brian Hartline had to dip right before everybody signed. Of course. He's there still, but he'll dip the moment our season ends. So that's sad. It's gonna be weird not seeing him anywhere near our sidelines anymore. We're gonna have a third new offensive coordinator in 3 years. Wow. It's gonna be weird. It really is. We're also gonna need a new receiver coach too. That'll be even weirder. And talk about filling shoes. Sheesh, man. That's not even filling shoes. That's whoever takes over for that is gonna have a damn crater to fill. I mean, damn. Zone 6 has only had two legit receiver coaches since what? Jim Tressel left? Right around there? Zach Smith and Brian Hartline. It's crazy, right? It's going to be up to whoever our new wide receiver coach is. It's going to be up to that person to keep the good vibes going, keep the empire alive. Maybe the new guy that we bring in, maybe he won't be afraid to establish, utilize the portal every now and then. And also, maybe he'll also continue the reign of just pure dominance in certain states. California, Texas, Florida. Yeah. So let's get a wrap it up for this one. I will see you all tomorrow on this channel for my preview video for the game against Indiana on Saturday. And we'll see what happens with Chris Henry Jr. Hopefully he stays. Most likely he goes. We'll see. Shout out to everybody who came through. Jacob, Andre, Timothy, and Era. So, gonna be a fun day, possibly tomorrow. All right, guys. Have a good rest of your day. I'm Crazy Dog coming at you on the Bucking Crazy YouTube channel. Going for over an hour. It was a lot of fun. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell. Shout out to everybody who got me over 200 subs on the channel. Next goal is to get to 300 by possibly this time next year. We'll see. Hopefully I'll be doing more live streams too. But yeah, have a good night or good day, whatever, wherever you're from. Go Bucks. OH. I'm out. Bye-bye. Yeah.